heart belongs to you. I love you very much. I could not live without you, so let's always keep in touch.
Okay, well, this is the first one of these kinds of things I'm doing, so I'll have a Sunkissed Orange Zero Sugar. How's that? And I have this, but I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, now I know what I'm doing. No, I don't. Okay, here's the plan. I have a large imposter syndrome issue. Because I spent the first 59 years of, I'm only 60. I spent the first 59 years of my life thinking I was normal, if a little quirky. And then for various reasons that I won't go into, I was having some mental health problems. Well, the issue was COVID, really. Whew. And everything that came with that. Just a lot of bad juju, mojo. So anyway, I got some help. I got on some medication for depression. And then I started doing some work. And first I found out that I had ADHD. And after that, and seeing the prevalence of autism in people with ADHD, and knowing that I'd wondered my whole life about certain things about myself when I was a kid, things that I did that were not normal, and you hear of in your peripheral, sort of this way of my brain's not going to work. Anyway, there are just some things that you pick up on, and I had picked up on them. So I started taking tests online. I know that sounds ridiculous, but these are not online tests from some magazine. It's not a Cosmo test. They are from Embrace Autism. It's a website that offers tests that have been created by Baron Sacha Cohen. Baron Sacha Cohen, the actor's older brother, who is a leading doctor in the realm of autism, believe it or not. And so it's over many, many years of research they've done, and they've come up with these tests. Here's another reason you got to do a test like this when you get to be my age. No one will see you. Resources are very limited, and those resources go to children. And there's nothing wrong with that. The idea is that if you have made it so long in your life, fuck you, we're not going to do a test for you. Just live your life. And that's less attractive than it than it might sound. Finding this out means that you can finally get some answers to questions you've had your entire life about why you feel certain ways about certain things, and why you react certain ways in certain situations. Let me guarantee you, this is not a superpower. People like to try. It's not a superpower. There are positive aspects about it in the way that my brain works, as opposed to some neurotypical brains, and that's fine, but that's on a different sort of scale than the deficit side, which is typically social and behavioral. So anyway, I took a bunch of tests, and I have the tests up, and I have my scores. And so I'm going to go through those now for a couple of reasons. Number one, revisiting these test scores helps solidify in my mind the fact that I'm autistic and that I have ADHD. And there are people in my life I haven't told about this specifically, because I know what it's like to doubt myself, and I have had things said to me by certain people in my life that indicates that they wouldn't believe me and would think that, oh, he's just being himself again. The autistic me that would stick out was not a lie, was not a joke, was not me being funny at the times when they occurred, when I didn't know, and the reactions that came from people were sometimes negative in those spaces. And so, I mean, I have a friend from high school who recently said to me, oh, yeah, I know you have that brain thing or whatever. And I was like, really? Really? I mean, fuck. So, I'll shake like this. It's a nerve thing too. Yeah, and the doctor hasn't pinpointed why. It could be medication. Could be partly because I have carpal tunnel. But anyway. Let's start. I'm wearing my teeth, which I don't do that often because who sees me? I don't go out of the house hardly ever. Certainly not in front of people I give a fuck about. So anyway, let's go. I'm going to start with the Aspie quiz. All of these quizzes, by the way, except for the very final one, come from embrace-autism.com. You can find all of these quizzes there. Autism tests that you can take for yourself if you feel like it. The Aspie quiz was last updated on November 1st, 2023. And the basic information about this is that it's a screening tool. And the test is designed for adults age 16 plus with an IQ in the normal range. And the scoring comes in 5 parts. It looks like 5 domains. Yes. Talent, perception, communication, relationships, and social. And then there's a score of 0 to 200. And there's a sort of a what is that? It's a graph where if depending on your score, neurodiverse people are going to be over there, neurotypical people are going to be over there. It'll make sense when you look at it. I'm going to have to edit this together with these tests and things. So the only part of this I'm shooting right now is me. And I intend to put a background in. Whatever. Okay, so I'm not going to spend a ton of time on each one of these. I'm not going to go through all the questions. There are 119 questions in this test, and I've already mentioned the areas they go across. And so now looking at my score, out of 200, my score is 144. That is 99% probability of being atypical, autistic, neurodiverse. You'll be able to tell when we look at the graph here that I am way over on the atypical side in everything. Perception in particular and talent are both very high. So anyway, 99% probability, right? Score of 144 out of 200. That's the ASPE quiz. ASPE standing for Asperger's, which it's not called anymore. It's ASD1, or Autism Spectrum Disorder Level 1, Support Level 1. There are 3 support levels, 1, 2, and 3. Isn't that funny how that works? 1 used to be called Asperger's, and now it isn't. It's just called Autism Spectrum Disorder 1. I'm very repetitive. That's nice. So let's move on. I'll try and bring things up when they come up. Online alexithymia questionnaire, the OAQ. This test, let's see. No, that's not what I'm looking for. It's designed for adults with ASD level 1, previously Asperger, and an adult with high IQ, normal to high IQ. It measures difficulty identifying feelings, describing feelings, vicarious interpretation of feelings, externally oriented thinking, restricted imaginative processes, problematic interpersonal relationships, and sexual difficulties and disinterest. And the scoring range is 0 to 185. The threshold score is 113. I'm going to assume you understand what I mean by threshold score. Anyone below 113 would be on the more neurotypical side. Again, it's a spectrum. So with this quiz, my score is 119. I don't really have that much of a difficulty identifying feelings. Vicarious interpretation of feelings. I'm trying to figure out what these little individual things mean. It's kind of difficult for me too. So I don't know. You can go look at the test. Again, it's the, which one? OAQ, I think. Yeah, I'm not going to go through all the ins and outs of these quizzes. They're too involved, actually. I'm just going to tell you what's going on with me. And if you're that interested, you can go look. My score on this was 119. The threshold is 113. The OAQ. Next test is the SQ, systematizing quotient. It's the SQ revised. It was last updated on June 7th of last year, so a little over a year ago. And the SQR, right? It's for adults 16 with average or higher intelligence. It tests your proclivity to systemize or think in terms of systems. Someone who scores high on this measure is keen on analyzing systems and classifications. They explore categories and the relationships between concepts. They are able to discern and manipulate causal patterns, and they have great attention to detail. They may also collect and organize things. Now, quick little story about me. I know. I drink like this shit, trying to have a drink of water. It's because everything's going like this. Anyway, excuse me. This is the kind of thing I'm up against, right? Being me and being as old as I am. When you're a kid, if you're autistic and you're a kid, oftentimes one of the things you will do is you will organize your toys in a line or in groups, right? You put all your shoes out like all over the floor and put them in certain, small to high heel or whatever. You put all your blocks in a line and do that kind of stuff. And I was like, well, I do remember putting blocks in a row, but I would do that because I was making a track, and then I would take my car and make my car go back and forth on them. Does that count? Yeah, it does. But the funny thing is, while I'm thinking about this and talking to myself out loud, which I do constantly, I was realizing that next to my bed, I had put my phone and this remote control and that remote control, and I made a grid on the bed, on the corner of the bed, with all of these things, as I was literally saying out loud, I don't organize stuff. That's not a thing that I do. That I looked at him and went, oh. So there's a disconnect between what you do and what you realize you're doing and how they interact with the universe. But anyway, this is according to Simon Baron-Cohen, systematizing is particularly strong in innovators in all fields, the sciences as well as the arts, and autistic people tend to score high on this cognitive mechanism. And my score, let's see, what is, I don't know. Let's look at what I got. My score was a 78. Now, what's the highest score you can get? I don't know. Let me look and see. Is it over here with the systematizing quotient? No. My score is a 78. So let me go back to the test and see what the score means. What it tests, version and translations, taking the test. Important when you take this, try to enter the blah. Sometimes scoring range 0 to 150. The threshold score is 75. So 75 and above, you're a yes on this. And my score is 78. So I am a yes. ASD1. Again. Okay, let's go to the Big Five. This is the next test. It's literally called the Big Five. I didn't make that up. This is designed for age 10 and up. And the test measures 5 personality traits, forming the acronym OCEAN. I don't know why I keep looking up here. That's the microphone. There you are. Openness, consciousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. Neuroticism. I'm looking at the microphone again. And this, there's, higher O, higher low, and are you curious-minded or closed-minded? All of that stuff, right? And so this test, let's see, we look at the score. Autism versus neurotypical scores, right? So let me look at my score here. Hold on, can I pull this out? I can. Okay, let's put my score. Boop. Next to that score. Oh, hold on. Okay. All right. Damn it. Move over there. Got a lot of crap here. Okay. Yeah. All right. So here we go. Openness. Neurotypicals are at a 4, autistics at a 3.6. My openness subtotal was 4.5. So my openness is very neurotypical. Conscientiousness. Neurotypical begins at 3.7. My conscientiousness total was 3.67. So almost, but not quite neurotypical. So in the autism, the top of the autistic range. Extroversion subtotal. Extroversion, being extrovert. Autistics, 2.8. Neurotypicals, 3.4. My extroversion total is 3.5. I'm gonna come back to this because I've already looked at this and figured out what's going on here. If you may have figured it out as well, I don't know. I look like my Aunt Sis with tattoos. If only I could burp more often. You'd think you were there. You'd think we were watching Lawrence Welk in the 70s. It means nothing to any of you. Agreeableness total, 3.78. The agreeableness totals in autistics start at 3.7. Neurotypicals start at 4.2. So my agreeableness total is very autistic. And neuroticism, autistics are 3.2 and above. Neurotypicals are 2.5 and below. My neuroticism subtotal is 4, which is high. So that's everything here is in the autism range except for openness and extroversion, right? Besides being autistic, I also have ADHD. ADHD and autism sort of smack at each other. And your autism can be like, no, I don't want to go out of the house. And your ADHD will be like, I need to go out of the house in the sun and run around the block 5 times. So when it comes to my higher scores on openness and extroversion, those things are due to my ADHD. So they're not really neurotypical, even though the score is closer to neurotypical. Do you see what I mean? The only reason those got kicked up was because of other things that are wrong with me. So yes, let's put this back over there where it belongs, right? Does a big 5 there? Yeah. Okay. So now we're going to go to the CAT-Q. This test is camouflaging, right? So I think this is about masking, unless I am way off. It tests the degree to which you use camouflaging strategies. The more you camouflage, the more of your autistic proclivities you are likely able to suppress. As such, a high camouflaging score can also account for lower scores on other autism tests. So if you don't currently meet the diagnostic criteria, but you still think you have autistic traits, then this could be why. The CAT-Q measures camouflaging in general, as well as 3 subcategories: compensation, masking, and assimilation. These are strategies used to actively compensate for difficulties in social situations. Strategies used to hide autistic characteristics or portray a non-autistic persona. And assimilation, strategies used to try to fit in with others in social situations. Now, before I go into this, one of the things I'm going to mention here is that from the time that I could go to a bar until I started going to a psychiatrist and got on Prozac, I drank every day, basically. I got drunk all the time. And that was one of the ways that I coped. And I would think often, oh, I'm having these thoughts because I'm drunk. Turns out I have those thoughts, even though I haven't had a drink in several years now. And I was very lucky. I got on Prozac and stopped drinking and I never needed another alcoholic beverage. I had one once and I immediately fell asleep. So I don't use that as a coping mechanism anymore. And so that's neither here nor there, really, except that that's what I used to do to help masking. So score range from 25 to 175. The threshold score is 100. And my total was 135. My compensation was 54. Masking was 34. And assimilation was 47. Let's see. What kind of... Did they break that down over here? Let me see. I'm looking. There's a test. Let me go through it. Past it. Neurotypicals. Autistic differences. Yeah, there's a whole thing in here. Again, I'm not going to go through this. I tested autistic for the masking part, and there is nothing surprising about that, because if you know me, you know that very outgoing and loud and drunk all the time, or I was. EQ, the empathy quotient. When people say that people who are autistic don't have empathy, that is wrong. There is something called the double empathy problem, which is that, follow me here, neurotypes communicate best with other similar or same neurotypes. So neurotypicals and neurotypicals get along fine together. They meet, they have conversations, they get it. Same is true of people who are autistic. They also, when they meet and see each other and sort of meet eye to eye and have a good relationship, typically that is because they are also both on the spectrum. So, Himalaya, get yourself tested. You're one of my favorite people. Look, do what you want. I'm not saying that you have to be, whatever. I'm not saying shit. Well, I did say shit, but I'm stopping. Okay, so that's that, right? Oh, yeah, empathy. Yeah, see, there's the ADHD. I forgot where I was. Designed to measure empathy. Yeah, no shit. So you take the test, and the scoring is 0 to 80, and the threshold is below 30. 81% of people previously designated Asperger score 30 or lower. Most non-autistic males score 42 on average. And so non-autistic males are around a 32 on average. Autistic males, right, 30 or lower. Mine is actually 26. So ASD1. Now we're going to do the RADS-R test. That's another psychometric test. RADS-R. It's for ASD level 1. Normal range. Scoring. What is it? Wait, hold on. Versions and translations. Who's the test designed for? What is it? What are we testing here? I need to identify adult autistics who escape diagnosis due to a subclinical level presentation. And scoring. Oh, okay, yeah. And average scores. Okay, so here we go. Let's see where I fit in here. There are subtotals. I'm not going to go to those. I'm just going to go to the total. My total is 146. Right. Wait. Okay, so my score is 146, right? Neurotypical males are 84.2. Autistic males, total score is roughly like 148.6, I guess, but clearly I'm right in that range. Hold on a second, let me look here again at language subtotal. Mine's 12. Autistic males get 11.9. Social relatedness, mine is 68. Autistic males, 71.3, so right in that neighborhood. Sensory motor subtotal, 31 is mine. Autistic males, 36.7. And then circumscribed interests, 35 is my score. And autistic males are at like 28. So I'm higher there. I'm also, I'm a little higher on the sensory motor as well. So yeah, autistic. Again. So that was the RADS-R, right? Yeah. So now we're going to AQ, Autism Spectrum Quotient. I have taken 9 tests, by the way. These are all different tests, testing different things. And this is how I know that I'm autistic. Well, it's not the only way I know. Overall, I know. But let's see, the AQ. It's another test by the wonderful Simon. It's used to measure autistic traits in adults with an IQ of at least 80 or above. Excuse me. In some autistic levels, like 2 and 3, there can be learning disabilities as well, learning differences. I definitely have learning differences. There are some things that I love math, but I didn't find that out until I started working, because the way they teach you math in school, they suck at it. So anyway, this test, let's see, scoring. The range is 0 to 50, and the threshold is 26 and up. Scores 26 or greater indicate you might be autistic. You might be autistic if. You might be a redneck if. Ooh, I'm going to have to do some Jeff Foxworthy type jokes. I'll have to sit down and write them, though. I can't just come up with them. What do you think I am? Normal? Okay, so what's my score here? My score is 35. So the threshold is 26, and I'm only 15 points away from the top. ASHFA, remind me what that means. Autism spectrum. Oh, and HFA we don't use. The term's not used anymore. So I'm not even going to say it because it's stupid. The control group was 16.4. Hold on a second. Let me look at. Yeah, my total is 35. And yeah, that's right. That's right there. Okay. Alrighty. So let's move on to the RBQ-2A test. And this is for self-administered questionnaire that measures restricted and repetitive behaviors in adults. I'm glad that came up because damn it. I have thinking putty. I recently discovered that if I sit at this desk for a long period of time, I don't stim as much as I really need to. I go off in different hyperfocus, and then I sort of don't stim, and it can cause me to actually become depressed, I've discovered, because my as the kids used to say, my jam is rocking. And I'm sure if you've known me, in real life, you have seen me rock. You have to have, because my foot constantly moving like that, which is something my dad did. It's something my brother Chris did. It's something my brother Ray does. It's like a thing in our family. Interestingly, autistic traits are genetic. You get them just like hair color. So if you're related to me, congratulations, or not. So anyway, that's what I wanted to get this out here. This is, it has like glow in the dark properties. This one is called Stardust. It's Thinking Putty from Crazy Aaron. And the first time I got some, I got it at like Walmart, I think it was. They had it in the toys. I also got some Legos that I really liked. I put it together and then I didn't have anywhere to put it, so I had to take it apart, which is too bad because it's a fun one. It's Mario, Nintendo Mario. You actually move it around and the whole thing. But so in addition to rocking, one of the things that helps me regulate my nervous system and get this overflow of energy and things in my brain, besides rocking, which I really, really prefer. I love to sit on my bed and watch TV and rock, is using this putty. My beautiful husband got this for me, actually. My old putty, I left it in the sunlight over there, and it turned into this mess. Also, I don't look people in the eye. We'll get to that in a minute. I never have. I always look at people's mouths. And I always knew that people looked at people in the eye. And I never really felt like I was avoiding the eyes on purpose. I just felt like I felt like I just didn't look there. The eyes just never interested me. I look at people's mouths when I talk to them, and when they talk to me. And for a long time, I thought I did that because I had a hearing loss or something. I figured, I'm looking at people's mouths because I need to read their lips, but that is actually untrue. As a matter of fact, one of my traits is that I have this thing where I hear the tiniest little sounds, and I mean tiny. My mother-in-law can be out there in the living room, and I'm in here listening to music, and this is oddly when it happens the most is when I'm listening to like music or something, even with headphones on. I can have headphones on really loud, and if somebody in the next room goes like this, I will hear that. I will hear it over. My brain goes out there and grabs that sound and brings it right into the front of my hearing. I used to, when I lived in Hoboken on Washington Street, 1024 Washington Street. When I lived there, we lived on the second floor. And when people would walk by at night having conversations, it was like they were standing in the room next to me. We're on the 8th floor here, and it's the same. I can hear people talking on the street, walking by. I hear every little thing going on outside. There are pigeons that get on our balcony, which is by my window, and it's wacky. So anyway, this is called stimming or self-stimulating. Not that kind of stimulating. I mean, everybody does that, but self-stimulating to help regulate. So that's what this is. I prefer the putty because it doesn't fight me. You know what I mean? I know that some people use stress balls like this, and these stress balls are cool. This one is from my husband's job. It doesn't want to focus. How about if I put it right up there? Hudson County. No, it's not going to show up. Okay. Why is there noise happening? Is something... Looks like there's a lot of noise. No. It's just the noise floor is really high. Hopefully I can fix that. Anyway. Okay. Okay, so measures restricted and repetitive behaviors in adults. That's what this is. Repetitive behaviors and all that. Now, it tests insistence on sameness, which is finding comfort in routines and consistency, and circumscribed interests, right? Like, I really like to watch reaction videos. I really like to watch Star Trek episodes. I'll put on Star Trek and go to sleep and wake up, and I've had, Star Trek sounds in the background, and that's my favorite. Repetitive motor behaviors, RMB, rocking, hand flapping, ritualistic behavior, and sensory activities, which can be auditory. Another one of my things I was talking about audio before, I hear electricity. The only time I don't hear, this is an obvious statement. I don't hear electricity when the power goes out. What I mean to say is, the only time I'm in utter silence is when there's no power. If we have a power outage, then there's no sound. That's when I'm like, I finally am hearing silence. It was also great when I would go to North Carolina and go to Monroe to my brother Ray's house, and because when you go outside there in the backyard, there's like no sound. It was so relaxing, just insanely relaxing. Okay, so here's where you take the test. Scoring. The score range is 20 to 60, and threshold score is 26 and above. Average autistic score is 36. Non-autistic score is 25. My score is 31. Right? The threshold is 26. So, yeah. Autism. Autistic. Okay. And here's the last one. This was a test that I actually had to pay $3 to take online. $3 well spent, I guess. And this is a test. Whoops. Nope. This is a test. It's a detailed report of your autism test for adults that I took. I took this test on autism360.com, I believe, is the website. I don't remember where I got that website from or why, I decided that, whatever. Compare your own test symptoms against more than 40,000 other adults who have responded to the same questions, yada, yada, yada. Well, anyway, my score, on this is oh wait, that's the bill. You know what? I didn't need to go all the way down there. Here's my score. I am 60%. My score is 1,315 out of 2,200. And that puts me into, they've used the old term here, which I'm not going to use. It has put me in the ASD1 range. That range goes from 886 to 1470. And again, my score was 1315. So the lowest score you can get in this category is 886. So I've got 450 points above that. So not an imposter. That's a total of 9 tests. And now is the time on Sprockets wenn wir dance.
Celebrate several ways, make a tea and sweat. We took the holiday with all our friends. It was a time to relax and let you wear it behind. It's taking several weeks and something crossed my mind. It was the sign of the time we never forget. One morning our parents kicked us out of a bed. We told them Mr. Stupid, don't play the fool. But the answer was shut, you got to go to school. She's running up and down and everybody...
Wasn't that fun? Can you believe that? I'm watching this video. And then I'm like, holy crap, I own that. Electric Callboy. Gotta love him. And that's it. I'm autistic. Bye. Still bye.
New York, my heart belongs to you. I love you very much. I could not live without you, so let's always